A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you, well, something I haven't done in a long time, and that is a playthrough of a fighting fantasy game book. So, cheers. Delicious and nutritious. Now, growing up, those of you that have watched the channel already know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. My mother got me a fighting fantasy game book for my 10th birthday. That book was, in fact, Phantoms of Fear. An absolutely amazing and yet brutally difficult game book. Now, for those of you that don't know what fighting fantasy is, you create a character with 3 statistics: skill, stamina, luck, and you play through this and you make choices and you fight monsters and you try to get to the end and complete your quest. These are some of my fondest childhood memories. I love them. My brother loved them. My friends back in Australia used to read these and play them. They are just simply fantastic. If you are sitting at home by yourself and you got nothing to do, don't turn on the television. Go and get one of these babies. Read it, have fun and enjoy it. These are great for getting kids into role-playing games, because effectively it is a mini role-playing game in a book. You're making choices, you're rolling dice. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend them to everybody out there. Now, pardon me, that was the beer talking. The very first fighting fantasy game book released by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone was The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Notoriously difficult. Some say all but impossible to complete. I've never completed it, but then I have the distinction of having played these books for over 35 years. And I've never finished one. My character has always died. There has never been one of these books that I have completed. Now, a lot of you are going to go, isn't that frustrating? No, it's not. It's just about the story. It's about the adventure. It's about the luck of the dice. It's freaking awesome. The day that I do complete one of these books, you know what? It's never going to happen. Not even with this video. I will tell you that right now. Don't go in this expecting, oh, you managed to complete it. No. I will tell you it was awesome. It was an awesome journey, and I loved every freaking minute of it. I get nowhere near completing this thing. Spoiler alert, I don't care. I had fun. That's all that matters. Now, the Warlock of Firetop Mountain was actually turned into a campaign for the Advanced Fighting Fantasy game system. This is a campaign that I plan on running with my regular Plaguelands Media crew because it's awesome and it's fucking awesome. So there you go. But today I'm not talking about the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. I'm talking about this. Return to Firetop Mountain. Now, this is one of 2 fighting fantasy game books I have recently purchased. The other one is still in shipping, but I am really looking forward to getting my hands on it. And the reason I purchased this is because Firetop Mountain is iconic. And this was initially the 50th fighting fantasy game book ever published. And I had never read it and I had never played it. What you are going to see is the first time I am actually playing this game book. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so I had to grab this one. The other game book that I've got coming basically involves Lord Carnus from the game book Trial of Champions. Another one of my favorites. The rivalry between Lord Carnus and his brother Baron Succumbent, who was the mastermind behind Death Trap Dungeon, is legendary, and I could go on and on for hours about the things that I love in the fighting fantasy world. I'm not going to. I am going to tell you, however, that Return to Firetop Mountain, if you want to know more about the characters in here that your adventurer will meet along the way, you can find them in this, Titan, the Fighting Fantasy World, a book that I had back in the day, and this is actually a reprinted copy of it, because my old copy probably fell apart the number of times I fucking read that thing. You meet characters like, yes, Tromo the Wizard. You are going up against Zagor, who is part of the Demonic Three. These three wizards that apprentices that killed their master and kind of took his power. This world is so rich in lore. It's so rich in history, in monsters and magic and all of that good stuff. And you find it all in these books. These fighting fantasy game books, which really, Legend of the Shadow Warriors, that's the other one I have, really need to make a comeback, and they are making a comeback. Let me just put these back on the shelf if I can, which I can't, but I will. There we go. I actually backed a Kickstarter that is revitalizing the Fighting Fantasy franchise with the first few books in the series. So this is my playthrough, my very first playthrough of Return to Firetop Mountain. Look at that cover. And if you look at the art inside of these books, absolutely iconic, phenomenal. The writing is top-notch. It immerses you in the story. I'm not doing the voices in this video. I'm not kind of going on that route, but you're going to get the idea. So I hope you enjoy this. I don't get very far, so it is what it is. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't care, because I had an absolute blast playing this. So this is a playthrough of Return to Firetop Mountain on the next episode of...
Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. People.
Okay, this is Return to Firetop Mountain. Now, before we get started, I have my character sheet here, just a improvised one. Skill, stamina, luck. I will roll for those on camera. We start with a fine sword, backpack, traveling clothes, and a lantern. We have a spot for armor, magic items, treasure, and of course our enemies. Now, you know that I'm notoriously bad at these fighting fantasy game books, if you have actually watched any of them in the past, but we'll see how we go. I've never played this one. I've never read this one. I never owned this one back in the day. I believe this was actually the 50th one that was released, but yeah, that was back in the old days. So, how do we determine our stats? Skill is a D6 plus 6. Great. I was rolling sixes all the time. Stamina, 2d6 plus 12. 12, 18, 19, 20. Okay. And luck is a d6 plus 6. Oh, come on. Okay, this is going to be a short game. But you know what? It is what it is. Okay, I'm going to kind of move this off to the side so it's easier for me to write on. I have my Dwarven Spirits here, which I'm going to take a sip of right now. And let's get started with Return to Firetop Mountain. Okay, let's just go right into it. I'm not going to do voices, so don't expect a lot. Okay, 10 years is not a long time in a wizard's life. Some live for over 200 years, keeping themselves alive by their own magic and potions. There's a well-known saying among wizards which goes, "You're a long time dead, so let's live instead." That's fucking lame. Some wizards even went one step further. They cast a spell on themselves so that in the event of their being slain or assassinated, they are able to raise themselves after a predetermined time when their assailant was long gone. The wizards who chose to come back from the dead were, however, always aligned to evil, for it was dark magic that needed to cheat death. One of those wizards was known and feared by the name of Zagor, the infamous warlock of Firetop Mountain, who appeared in the very first fighting fantasy book. 10 years have passed since the day when he was killed by a brave adventurer, not me, who risked the guards and deadly traps deep inside Firetop Mountain to save Alancia from his evil magic. But killing Zagor is one thing, keeping him dead is another. Nobody knew that Zagor had cast the Raise Dead spell on himself, otherwise the adventurer who killed him would have sealed him inside his mountain tomb. But all that was 10 years ago. In the last 6 months, sinister events have begun to happen around Firetop Mountain. First, the top of the mountain, which was famous for its red-coloured bracken, was turned deathly black. Livestock, which have grazed on and around the mountain for decades, have started to die a sickening death, and recently people have even disappeared, dragged inside the mountain, it is said, by hideous creatures of the night. Those good people who remain are terrified, for it is rumoured that Zagor has risen and is building himself a new body, bit by bit, from the unfortunate villagers of Anvil. You are an adventurer, a sword for hire, wandering through the lands. Coming to the village of Anvil, you decide to stop for a rest after your week-long march. However, as soon as you enter the village, you sense that all is not well. The villagers look frightened, and the women quickly push their children indoors as you walk along the main street. And that happens to me anyway. You decide that the local tavern would be the best place to find out who is troubling the villagers, so you enter the Two Moons. Of course, it's the local tavern, a classic fantasy trope, and I fucking love it. The chatter inside dies down quickly to a low murmur, and the customers eye you as you walk up to the bar. Well, I am fucking dead sexy. The barman stares at you sternly, and you can see by the look in his eyes that he's a proud man trying to hide his fear. Yes, he grunts in a low voice. Sorry.
Yes.
You tell him that you're an adventurer seeking a new quest that will end in riches and honour. He frowns, not knowing whether to trust you. Does the name Zagor mean anything to you? He asks softly, watching you closely for a reaction. Zagor, you reply confidently, was the warlock of Firetop Mountain until he was slain 10 years ago. Is the warlock of Firetop Mountain, the barman says dramatically. He's come back to life. He's building himself a new body and is sending his evil servants to Anvil to take back live donors. The barman seems to accept you as a friend and quickly goes on to tell you about the doom that has befallen Anvil thanks to Zagor. We need help, stranger, he says desperately. None of us here has the power to defeat Zagor, but maybe you do. We are poor and cannot pay you what you deserve to take on such a task, but we do know that there are chests full of gold inside Firetop Mountain. Will you help us? By now the tavern is silent. All eyes are upon you. How can you let them down? Slowly you smile and nod your head. On one condition, you say. Name it, the barman replies. That I get a hot bath and a room for the night. You laugh. Done. Everyone in the tavern lets out a cheer, and they all gather around to slap you on the back and offer to buy you some ale. In the morning, you find the barman, whose name you learn is Moose. Wasn't he part of the fucking Archie and the Riverdale gang? Wow. He's come a long way. Cooking a large breakfast for you. You must set off south immediately to visit the Grand Wizard Yestromo. He alone can prepare you for such an adversary as Zagor. Do not think about tackling Zagor on your own. He is stronger than ever and his magic is deadly, Moose says earnestly. You thank him for his advice and bid him farewell. Now turn to paragraph 1. Your adventure awaits. May your stamina never fail. No, but by skill and luck fucking will, because there's 7. Not that I'm bitter about that, of course. Not at all. Okay. Oh, wow. Fantastic art. Look at that. Okay. Leaving Anvil and its villages behind, you set off east, deep in thought. Firetop Mountain is only a short distance from Anvil, but to go all the way to Yestromo's tower first would mean losing many days' valuable time. How could Yastromo help? Ever since he single-handedly defeated 8 ghoulish dark elves on the edge of Darkwood Forest, the place where he built his famous tower, his reputation has grown. Wise, good, powerful, philanthropic, and many other words were used to describe the great Yastromo. Many sought his help against evil, and none were turned away. Suddenly there is a shout from behind you. You spin around to see Moose running towards you. You notice his sword is drawn, and there is a look of alarm on his face. Zagor will know of your plans unless we can catch the 2 trackers I saw running from Anvil a few minutes ago. They must have overheard us and are running back to inform Zagor. Quick, follow me. We must catch them. Moose says hurriedly, still panting. He runs off into the undergrowth, shouting at you to follow him. Do I trust Moose? Now, here's a good thing. If you don't have dice, the book actually has dice on the bottom of the pages. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm going to trust Moose. 341. You run after Moose, keeping your head down to avoid many outstretched branches. You catch sight of something sparkling in the bushes. If you want to stop briefly to find out what it is. Yeah, I'll stop. 82. You find a round polished shield half buried in the dirt. Take it if you wish. Then 267. I am going to take the shield. I'm going to write that down in my armor slot. Sweet. Okay. 267. You have to run hard to keep up with Moose. He zigzags through the undergrowth, glancing down at the ground occasionally for prints. All at once he stops and puts his arm up for you to stop running too. You hear a rustle of branches to your left, followed by a piercing howl. Will you charge into the bushes towards the noise or stand your ground? I'm going to stand my ground. You manage to grab... Wait. Hold on. 374. I went to 274. That's why it didn't make any sense. 374. A dagger flies out of the bushes straight at you. If you're holding a shield, I am. Turn to 49. Reacting swiftly, you fling the shield up to block the steel dagger, which clatters off the shield and falls harmlessly to the ground. You pick it up and charge into the bushes, brandishing your sword. 72. I think there's a battle coming. Okay. You leap into the bushes, your sword cutting through the air. To your right is Moose, and in front of you are 2 servants of Zagor. They crouch, daggers drawn, and growl, foamy spittle dripping from their dog-like jaws. Half dark elf and half goblin. Trackers are perfect hunters and messengers, always armed with a crossbow of throwing daggers across their chest. They will not usually fight openly unless cornered. Suddenly they throw their daggers at you and Moose and draw their short swords. But you are ready and duck the flying dagger. Wasting not a second more, you charge at the nearest tracker. Skill 7, stamina 6. Okay, so... Okay, this is very simple. Combat. Roll 2 dice. Add my skill. Roll 2 dice. Add their skill. Whoever gets higher deals 2 damage. So, I get 11. They get 11. So, even Stevens. Let's go again. I get 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. They get 16. They do 2 damage to me. I can use my luck to mitigate that, but I don't want to. Down to 18. I get 15. They get 14. I get... So, yeah. 19. Let's see, I get 10, 14. They get not enough. And I kill my tracker. Okay. I won, but I did take a wound. Go to 306 if you won. You pull your sword free from the tracker's chest and, looking round, see that Moose has also been victorious, despite a deep gash in his left arm. A search of the tracker's body reveals 6 gold pieces, each stamped with the letter Z. You agree to keep 3 each, and you also take 2 steel daggers. So I get 3 gold and 2 daggers. Okay. Not content with emptying pockets, Moose pulls the boots off the tracker and gives them a shake. A folded piece of brown stained paper falls to the ground. I'm not touching that smelly thing, last Moose. If you want it, you can have it. I'll take it, I guess. 218. It's probably a trap. The folded paper is damp with sweat and an unsavoury smell wafts up from it. Holding it gingerly by the corners, you shake out the folds. A pair of blood-red eyes are drawn on the paper. Suddenly they burst into flame and your hand starts to tremble uncontrollably. You have been cursed. Deduct 2 points from your skill. Okay, I'm down to 5. You drop the paper to the ground and the trembling stops. Moose apologises at great length, blaming himself for your misfortune. Forget it, you say reassuringly. At least Zagar doesn't know I'm coming. You walk back to the path together and there bid farewell once more. Then you set off east alone. 161. By midday, the sun overhead is shining brightly and it is uncomfortably hot as you walk along the dusty path. You hear the sound of someone whistling. Then in the distance, you see an old man leading a donkey. 2 large wicker baskets piled high with mushrooms are strapped to the donkey's back. As you approach the man, he comes to a halt and standing boldly in front of his donkey with his arms folded across his chest, he says, "I'm Dung Heap Dan, the mushroom man. I'd rather be a poet than a man who has to hoe it." He smiles and bows as if waiting for applause. I'm going to talk to Dung Heap Dan because he sounds like a piece of shit. Get it? Dung Heap? Shit? I'm hilarious. You open your mouth to speak, but Dan immediately interrupts with another rhyme. "Take a mushroom, I won't tell. When you're ill, it will make you well." You realise that talking down would be a waste of time. You accept his gift gratefully, putting your mushroom in your backpack. Dan then sets off with his donkey towards Anvil, leaving you to continue east. 237. Half an hour later, you come to a place where the path splits. If you wish to keep walking east towards Firetop Mountain, if you'd rather turn south towards Darkwood Forest, I need to go to Yaztramo. I need to get rid of this curse. $120. An hour or so later, you hear a cry for help coming from the woods in the middle of scrubland to your right. If you want to investigate, yep. I am a hero after all. 318. Wow, look at that. You soon come upon a man who is lying stripped to the waist and staked out on the ground. Somebody has spread honey over his chest and face and is being stung by hundreds of red ants that are crawling all over him. You hasten to cut him free, then roll him in the dirt to get the ants off him. Although he is in great pain from the angry red bite marks that cover his body, he is not in mortal danger. Bandits ambushed me while I was riding along this path. Before taking off with my horse, they decided to make me pay for killing their leader in a fight. Thanks to you, their plan has failed. Here, take this as a reward, stranger. It's a ring of invisibility. I suppose I should have used it to hide from the bandits, but it is very old. It is a very old ring and only has one more charge left. Off you go now. Don't worry about me. As soon as my horse is left alone for even a second by those infernal bandits, he'll come galloping back. Making sure the man is fit enough to be on his own, you head south along the path. So I have my first magic item. Ring of invisibility. 1 charge. Okay. 250. The rest of the day passes without incident, and as light starts to fade, you begin to think about finding a place to sleep for the night. You know the dwarf village of Stonebridge is not far away, although you do wonder whether you'll be able to reach it before nightfall. I'm going to Stonebridge. I like dwarves. let's see. As the night gradually closes in, you find that walking along the path becomes increasingly difficult. Before long, you can hardly see the path at all, and as you are still a long way from Stonebridge, it seems pointless to go on any further in virtual darkness. Just as you're wondering where you will find a safe place to sleep, you hear this almost silent flapping of wings above you. Drawing your sword, you strain your eyes towards the dark sky and catch sight of a predatory creature that is swooping down to attack. It is a vampire bat and wants to suck your blood. During this fight, you must temporarily reduce your skill by 2 because you are fighting in near darkness. Okay, vampire bat, skill 5, stamina 4, 2, 0. Okay, I have a skill of 3. And it has a skill of 5. This is going to be interesting. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 3, 6, 12. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Cheers to that. $3.50. Still reeling from the unexpected attack, you step warily off the path in search of some cover under which to sleep. You stumble across a fallen tree and decide to sleep beneath its branches. The night passes without incident, and not long after first light, you return to the path and head south to 38. A brisk 3-hour march brings you to the outskirts of Stonebridge. You walk into the village and are met by 2 dwarves. News travels fast in Lancia, for one of them says, "Welcome, stranger, we have been expecting you." Seeing your puzzled look, he continues, "A messenger bird brought us news from Anvil, and we wish to help you so that you can meet Nostromo. It is your good fortune that you came to visit us because Nostromo is not at his tower at present. He has gone to the town of Card, which is far to the west of Stonebridge, down the Red River. Plague has broken out there, and he's gone to help, but we're not sure if this is Zagor's doing. We have a fast sailing boat that can get you there in half a day. It is manned and ready to sail immediately. Come now, follow us. We have no time to lose." Wow, I actually made a correct choice. You follow the 2 dwarves through the village to the banks of the Red River, where a strange-looking sailing vessel is moored. It is about 10 metres long and is narrow, but with canvased racks sticking out on both sides. A 5-metre pole pokes threateningly out of the bow, doubtless a ramming weapon. The mast is tall and curved, somewhat resembling an enlarged longbow. The massive sail flaps noisily in the wind, waiting for someone to harness their power. 9 men stand in line before the boat, their faces brown and lined, as all seasoned sailors' faces are. The dwarf points to the men and says, "These men are good friends of the dwarves of Stonebridge. They'll take you to Card." Pointing at the shortest man who is standing at the head of the line, he continues, "That is Sack. He's in charge. The helmsman's name is Laurie. The others are Phil, Eon, Stewie, Crook, Mark, Neil, and Nidru. You greet the crew and climb aboard. The vessel feels very unstable, being so narrow, and starts to rock from side to side. "We're out of here," shouts Laurie, jumping aboard. The 2 dwarves untie the boat, as the rest of the crew also jump aboard. They rush about their various tasks, pulling on ropes, balancing the boat, trimming the huge sails. The boat pulls away immediately, ploughing through the water at an alarming rate. Ahead you notice a rowing boat lying upside down and bobbing along downstream. An orc is clinging to the upturned hull. If you want to tell Laurie to slow the boat in order to pick up the orc. You know what? I want to pick up the orc. Not all orcs are evil. The crew quickly brings down the sails and the boat glides to a hold alongside the upturned rowing boat. Nidru throws a rope to the orc, but the orc turns and dives into the river. "Oh, for fuck's sake." "Ambush," cries Phil. Looking behind you, you see 2 orc war canoes that have been hidden beneath the branches of trees along the river coming towards you. A hail of arrows is loose on your boat. Roll 1 die and reduce your crew by this number. Stewie clutches at an arrow that's gone right through his neck, then gurgles a dying breath and slumps forward on the deck, his legs twitching in spasms. Ignoring him, the remainder crew members scramble to hoist the sails as the war canoe draws closer. How many fucking people were on the crew? I didn't pay attention. Because we just lost 6 of them. Let me just go back and try and find... I fought the vampire bats. And then I went to 350. This happens all the time with these books. 238. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're now down to 4 crew. Just going to make a note of that. Test your luck. So I roll 2 dice, and I have to get under 7, and then that 7 goes down to a 6. And I passed, but my luck is now 6. If you are lucky, turn to 77. With the sails hoisted and trimmed, the boat is quickly underway and the war canoes are soon left far behind. No more stops until Card snarls Laurie, pulling hard at the helm. Feeling guilty, you sit alone on the rack, watching the vivid landscape speed by. Test your luck. Okay, my luck is 6. And I got exactly 6. But now, my luck is 5. So I'm lucky. I go to 40. A white dove circles and lands on the deck, and you notice that a small pouch is attached to its leg. The bird appears to be unconcerned as you untie the pouch from its leg. Inside you find a message from Moose. Zagor has sent a doppelganger, a ghost-like imposter of Yaztromo, to trap you when you reach Card. But as you know, doppelgangers always have green eyes, and Yaztromo's eyes are blue. Beware. Wondering how Zagor found out about your mission, you throw the message into the river. The dove flies off as the boat continues its rapid journey downstream. Okay, this is interesting. I'm doing okay, but it's not going to last. Go to 11. As the morning wears on, dark clouds appear overhead, and wind quickly picks up. The unstable boat is caught with a sudden gust and tilts disconcertingly to one side. If your crew consists of 5 or fewer members, it does. 54. Okay. The crew try frantically to ease the sails and balance the boat, but the wind is too strong. The boat flips over on its side, spilling you and the crew into the cold water. Roll 1 die. This is the number of razorfish that converge and attack you without warning. 4. If there are as many or more razorfish as the crew, including yourself, there are fewer. I have 5 crew, including myself. 3, 2, 5. Sleek and protected by thick silver scales, razorfish attack viciously by ripping at their victim's flesh with their rows of razor-sharp teeth. The river is soon red with the blood of the crew. The water stirs near you as one of the razorfish turns to attack you. Okay. Razorfish. Man, I'm sweating everywhere today. 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Okay. I have skill of 5, and they have a skill of 7. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7. Yep. I'm down to 16 health. And I just threw a dice on the floor that ended up being a 6, but I can't count it. So 5. That's 10. They have 7. Yep. Down to 14. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They have 7, 11, 12. Okay. Nice. 17. And they get 14. Okay. 12. They hit me again. I'm down to 12 health. 12 stamina, I should say. Yep, they're definitely going to get me again. Down to 10. Okay, 5. 14. 7. Not enough. 5. 16. They get 7. And I killed a razorfish, but I took a ton of stamina damage there. I'm down to 10 stamina. But I did win. So I go to 89. You swim to the northern bank of the river and scramble up it, panting in exhaustion. You look back and see the boat drifting off downstream, but no crew members are left alive. Just the thrashing waters as more razorfish swim in to feed. If you want to rest for a while... no, I think I need to find... I'm down to 10 health. I'm going to rest. Yeah. 155. Take it where you can get it. Smoke if you got them. Exhausted by your struggles in the river, you decide a short nap will do you good. Regain 1 stamina point. Okay. So I'm at 11 now. My hand keeps sticking to the paper because of the sweat. It's really hot today. Sometime later you awaken with a start as you feel something long and smooth slithering over your body. It is a poisonous snake. Test your luck. My luck is 5. And I got a 4. Holy crap. I'm down to 4 luck, but 2, 2, 3. You lie completely motionless while the snake slides across your body and slithers away in the undergrowth. You spring to your feet and set out for card without further delay. 3, 7, 9. Okay, following the track west along the bank of the Red River, you observe a lone figure in the distance walking towards you. Wary of goblins and other lonesome creatures, you drop your hand to the hilt of your sword, but the figure turns out to just be an old hunchback man hobbling along slowly and leaning heavily on his crooked stick. Staring at the ground, he takes no notice of you until drawing level with you. He suddenly turns his head towards you and says with surprising menace, "Give me a gold piece." You know what? I'm going to give him one of my gold pieces. I've got 3. Why not? I give him the gold piece. 123. Smiling at the old man's audacity, you take a coin from your pocket and spin it towards him. One sinewy hand snatches it out of the air, and he puts it in his mouth to bite down on it. He grunts with satisfaction and screws up his eyes to examine it closely. Is that the letter Z? I see embossed on this gold I have here between my fingers, the hunchback asked slowly. Do I say it's a Z or do I say it's an N? Do I lie to him? You know what? I'm going to tell the truth. Whatever happens, happens. So, shouts the hunchback, you're in the employ of Zagor, are you? Well, any servant of Zagor is an enemy of mine. Before you have time to explain, the old man hits you across the back with his crooked stick. This is no ordinary stick, however, but a withering stick. The blow itself is not too painful, but your back seems to bend and contract, quickly stiffening and locking in its new position, and you find yourself unable to stand upright. Deduct 2 points from your skill. I'm down to 3. You draw your sword and shout at the old man to undo the damage he has done. Come another step closer and I'll whack you again, you evil leech, the hunchback shouts. I don't want to kill him. I want to reason with him. You explain at great length how you obtained the gold and why you are now on a mission to slay Zagor. Why didn't you say so in the first place, the hunchback retorts. You didn't ask, you reply sarcastically. And now, if you don't mind, how about straightening my back? Slight problem there, I'm afraid, the hunchback mutters. looking a little sheepish. I'm not quite up to the sort of hocus pocus. However, since you're on your way to see Yestromo, I suggest you get him to straighten your back out. He's good at that kind of thing, or maybe someone in card can fix you up. Now, I must be on my way. Sorry about the confusion, but you can't trust anybody these days. Cheerio and good luck. You fucking asshole. Hardly believing what is happening, you watch the old man shuffle off, leaving you to walk to card burdened by a not insignificant stoop. But the old man was a shaman, and wishing you good luck will bring you good luck. I get back 2 points of luck, putting me back to 6. And I go to 271. Hours later, you arrive at a jetty on the riverbank where a tributary runs into the Red River, and judging by the number of people milling about, you deduce that you cannot be far from Card. The people are dressed in tattered clothing. They look downcast with their chins on their chests, and hardly any of them are talking. Most are carrying small bundles and sacks. You decide to approach one of them, a tall man with a black beard, and ask him what is happening. He tells you solemnly that he is waiting for a boat to take him upriver to Silverton in order to escape the plague which is devastating Card. You ask him if he knows the whereabouts of Yestromo, and he replies that he last saw the wizard mixing potions to give to sick people in the town square. The man tells you to follow the narrow tributary for a short distance, and you will come to Card. Go to 182. You soon arrive at the outskirts of town, and all about you, you sense an atmosphere of despair. The occasional person you meet looks either ill or scared, and there is a slight whiff of decay in the air. A cart track runs from the tributary to the town gates, and you see an old man walking along it towards you. He's dressed in long flowing scarlet robes, and his hair and beard are long and white. From 20 meters away, he calls out to you, saying, "Welcome, stranger. I am Yestromo, the wizard you are seeking, I believe." On reaching you, he puts out his hand in greeting. His face is suddenly lit up by the sun as a cloud passes by, and his green eyes sparkle. I am not going to shake this fucker's hand, because he is the doppelganger that Moose warned us about. Okay. You sense danger. Something is not as it should be. The old man is being too friendly, not the way grumpy old Yestromo behaves at all. Suddenly you have it. His eyes are green where Yestromo's eyes are blue. The imposter in front of you must be a doppelganger, a ghost-like assassin sent to slay you. You must pierce its ethereal heart with your sword before its flesh touches yours, or you'll be doomed to immaterial existence in a twilight world. To resolve this combat, roll dice as normal, but do not deduct stamina. The winner of an attack round rolls both dice again. If a double is rolled, then either the doppelganger's heart is pierced, or it touches your flesh, depending on who won the attack rounds. Okay. Doppelganger, skill 9, stamina 0. So, I have to fight a skill 9 with a skill 3. And whoever wins rolls the dice, and if a double is rolled, they automatically win. So, 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, to 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, if I roll doubles, I win. No. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, yeah. He rolls doubles, he wins. So the doppelganger of Yestromo touches my flesh, and I am doomed to immaterial existence in the Twilight World. And that, my little Plaguelandians, was returned to Firetop Mount. I had some bad luck. I rolled low for my skill and luck. But, as always, these books are an absolute ton of fun. And you always have the replay value of going back and playing it again and making some different choices. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all that good stuff. Cheers, everyone. But most importantly, read a fucking book. Roll some fucking dice, people. There you go.